Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Bold and the Beautiful has Thomas Forrester on a long enough hiatus for the fans of the CBS soap, and they are just itching for him to touch down in LA. But many would like to see him all alone for this trip. This leaves the possibility open for a steamy reconnect with Hope Logan. So, once the news about Taylor Hayes dying breaks wide open, the Forrester son has to head home. Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, came home for a few brief scenes that worked to inform the other Bold and the Beautiful characters that he is engaged to be married. Then he closed his chapter with Hope Logan, Annika Noel, despite her desperate attempt to get him back. But in the blink of an eye, Thomas flew out again, after a very fleeting visit with the family. So fans see him coming back to town for several possible reasons. Hope's line struggles, and her career is on the line. While he severed his love relationship with her, he might step up and help her as any good friend would. So he could come home to amp up Hope for the future, then possibly head back and continue to work on her line remotely from across the ocean. That's if the soap wants to give the fans another fleeting glimpse of him and send him off again. But he likely returns to LA fully informed about Hope coming on to his sister's husband. With Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline Missins Wood, and his mother in constant touch with Thomas, he probably doesn't miss much from the grapevine. But one reason stands out above all others that would force him back home and on the Bold and Beautiful. When Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, reveals she's got one foot in the grave, this will raffle the sun. So grim news like this would send Thomas on the fast track to fly into LA. But until then, Hope's dilemma might be a reason for him to make a solo trip any day now. The news that Taylor is dying from heart failure has the fans fearing the worst for Thomas. Since he's been off the screen for so long, viewers ponder if this is it for Matthew Atkinson. Will they kill Thomas off to give his heart to his mother? It would be a dramatic and very final exit for the character. Bold and the Beautiful spoilers suggest someone might die to make this a heart transplant storyline. But it is more than likely they wouldn't kill off a major player with no possibility of a resurrection down the line. If they take his heart, they can't find him 6 months later wandering around France with a case of amnesia. Fans want Thomas Forrester back, almost any way they can get him, except not as a deceased hero whose mom gets his heart. So all Bold and the Beautiful viewers know about Thomas today is what his sister and mother toss into the conversation every so often. He's living his best life in Paris with his soon-to-be bride, and of course his son. There is no mention of that gala affair of a wedding Thomas planned while in town last time. Plus, the spoilers don't offer anything to suggest he's on the verge of popping up. So Bold and the Beautiful fans are itching to get Thomas Forrester back on the CBS soap screen, alive and well. To casual viewers, Thomas' departure might seem innocuous. A guy needs space. Maybe he wants to reconnect with himself, reflect on the life choices that made half the Forresters side-eye him for a decade. But for devoted fans, this trip isn't a quiet moment of introspection. It's a screeching halt to a red-hot storyline that was finally sizzling with promise. The timing couldn't be more suspicious. Just as Thomas and Hope's complex chemistry was reaching that delicate place between tension and confession. Boom, he's gone. No real drama, no cliffhanger, just a graceful exit wrapped in vague dialogue about needing to figure things out. Since when do B and B characters get closure without fireworks? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Thomas and Hope. Whether you ship them or scream into your throw pillows every time they exchange intense glances, you cannot deny the electric current between them. It's the kind of tortured connection that soaps are built on. Love, betrayal, redemption, all playing out under the sterile lighting of Forrester Creations. Thomas' solo trip pulls the rug out from under what many fans believe could have been one of the most compelling B and B slow burns in recent history. Was this romance ever going to happen? Could Hope truly forgive and feel for a man who once manipulated her so cruelly? The audience was ready for that messy, nuanced exploration. Part of Thomas' recent appeal has been his growth. Yes, it's a soap, and yes, characters flip between hero and villain faster than Ridge changes shirts, but Thomas was finally earning some redemption. His love for his son Douglas, his restraint around Hope, his willingness to take the high road, all signs pointed to a man on the mend. Why? Because it smells like narrative stalling. If the writers were confident in Thomas' growth and its payoff, would they have sidelined him during such a pivotal moment? Or are they setting him up for yet another emotional reset? Soap fans are loyal, but they're not blind. If Thomas returns as the same confused, chaotic character we've seen before, without any meaningful evolution, this whole detour will feel like wasted airtime. Twitter, Reddit, soap boards, the fandom reaction has been loud and divided. Some see the solo trip as a moment of maturity, a man recognizing his need for space before making a life-altering decision. Others, and perhaps more loudly, see it as a narrative cop-out, a way to yank the plug on a controversial but compelling storyline before it dares go too far. You build the Thomas Hope tension for months, only to ship him off. One fan posted on X, "This isn't a rom-com. This is betrayal." Another wrote, "If he comes back and nothing's changed, I'm done." Period. The ball is squarely in the writer's court now. Thomas' return could either reignite the flame or douse it for good. If they want to keep fans hooked, they need to do more than bring him back with a tan and some soul-searching monologues. They need to show consequences, growth, and maybe even a bold new direction. Does he come back determined to fight for Hope again? Does he accept their bond was always more about longing than love? Or does he re-enter with a mystery of his own, something that shifts the power dynamic and forces everyone to see him through a new lens? Let's give credit where it's due. The bold and the beautiful has taken big swings before, and they've paid off. From Brooke's tangled love web to Steffi's moral battles, this show knows how to play the long game. So maybe, just maybe, this detour is the start of something deeper. But the key to a slow burn is consistency. You can't tease the audience with flickers of heat and then douse them in ice water. Thomas and Hope's story can still work, but only if it moves. Standing still is not an option in a soap world where attention spans are short and emotional stakes are sky-high. So, did Thomas' solo trip home calm the itch for fans, or make it worse? In truth, it did both. For some, it was a break from the roller coaster, a chance to reset. But for many others, it felt like a betrayal of investment. Viewers had bought into this new version of Thomas. They wanted to see if the bad boy could truly become the hero. Instead, they got radio silence. Still, there's hope. Pun absolutely intended. If Thomas returns with renewed fire, clearer intentions, and a twist no one saw coming, this pause could retroactively become brilliant storytelling.